Tonight we have a presenter coming up. Leland, come on up. He's got some good experience. He's also done an IRO, but I'll let him explain it. Come on up. Oh, good.
She made it.
She made it.
We got the whole crew up here. All right. Dave Fisher would say you get to have a rap battle now.
Right. I'm Leland Hernandez. This is my wife Shannon. This is our beautiful daughter Charlotte. We're going to talk about our first syndication that we did. We own a 24-unit IRO also that we started with before we got into multifamily, or that was our first adventure into multifamily.
So this term IRO that keeps being thrown around, that's an independent rental owner. So that's just the two of you, right?
Yes, correct.
No investors, nobody to answer to except...
Yeah, these two. Yeah, these two.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's right. So, we get it. All right. So, why'd you join?
I'll let you want to go.
Okay, so we joined because of a lot of reasons, probably a number of reasons why you guys are in the room too. Number one, we just really wanted to be able to have that financial freedom. As my husband would call it, I'm very bougie. I like nice things, so therefore this is a way to have said nice things. But also, we just didn't want to be stuck on our W-2s forever. And no disrespect to anybody in the room that's been working for like 50 years. I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. I just don't. So this is the best way that we have found to do it, and we feel very blessed and have been surrounded by people that have been very supportive of that. We also joined because I totally forgot about this. So my grandpa left me 4 condos as a gift, and so I realized, number one, that's a huge step up in general in life, but I didn't want to waste it. So I decided, and after Leland convinced me after a few years, that okay, I was ready to sell it because this was pre-marriage. So it was my
and I didn't know about those until I got engaged to her, so it was not a money grab.
So
Great endowment.
I was like, surprise, guess what? And so after a few years, he convinced me, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to do it. And here we are. So.
Yeah, parlaying into that.
You wanna run?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You got to point it this way, and you got to go down. It's weird. There you go.
All righty. So here is the property, and it is in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it is called the Evergreen. We're going to rebrand it. We're just not there yet.
Wait, Leland, where do you live?
I live here in Rockwall, actually. So, yes, I do manage from afar, and it works out very nicely. I have third-party management in place, and we actually have other leads out of other offices in Houston and San Antonio who are doing the same thing. We actually, we all talk together and deal with the same property management company. So we all kind of get together and say, hey, when are you going out there, and try and check on the property. But we purchased it April 1. That's when we closed on it. And we bought it. It was a 1970s build. It's a brick exterior, 26 units, and we bought it for $93,000 a door. I raised $1,090,000 on it. That it was everything we needed for rehab, closing cost, and to carry us through for the lifetime of the deal.
So explain that a little bit. What do you mean you raised it?
So I did not have that amount of money in our bank account. There's no way, not even close, not even a tenth of it. So we have $110,000 in the deal. That's what we put into the deal. The rest of that money, math, is all the passive investors that I have in the deal. So there are 25 others who are invested in this deal, with us as me being the lead. And I'm very blessed and grateful that they trust me with their money. And so far, everything has been turning out the way that it should.
Now, are they all from Dallas?
They are not. So we have numerous, like San Antonio, Houston, a few in East Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Arizona. So, and that's all just on basically $1 million raise, and I still have people all over the country on this.
And everybody put in $100,000 like you, right?
The lowest person I have is $25,000, and I think everyone else is around $50,000. I think there's one more higher than that, but basically $50,000 or $25,000.
Okay, so if you had $25,000 to invest, you could get in this deal too.
Yes.
And you should also call out, though, that there are deals and opportunities depending on your I'm going to call it lead, right? It's lead. Clearly, I'm not in this every day. Sorry.
She's my sugar mama.
I am right now. So, but I do want to say that there are sometimes opportunities where you can get in at a lower number. So don't be discouraged. If you don't have 25 grand, I guarantee you get to know a few of these leads in this room, and they'll figure out a way to probably get you into the deal if it works. So don't be afraid to reach out to a lead about it.
Yeah, and that's just to add on to that. As we're teaching these leads how to do this and they're syndicating, we always request them to carve out a handful of lower. Even if their minimum is 50, we will kind of push them to carve out, it depends on the size of the deal, 5, 10, 20 slots for lower amounts, whether it's 10. I've seen even $5,000. So they're out there, but 5,000, 10,000, 25, all over the board. So always reach out when you're getting into these deals. And maybe you don't have that 50, reach out to the lead and say, hey, can I get in? I'm a first timer. Can I get in at 5 or 10? It doesn't hurt to ask.
Yep, just ask, and 9 times out of 10, if they say not this one, they'll put you on a list with somebody else or get you connected with somebody else and try and help you out. So our rehab budget, we were anticipating about $140,000, and that's kind of a skewed number because it's not going to be evenly per unit. So this is a 2-building property.
Down here, down there.
There you go.
It's a 2-building property, so that's the other. So there's like one on the north side, or one on the west side, one on the east side. This is the east side building. This one right here, it actually had a fire on these units right here. And so those units basically were redone in 2016, so they don't need a lot of rehab. The other building is in a lot not as desirable shape, and they need some love, and that's where a lot of the money for the rehab is going to. So right now, we are at, the income is at 296. And the other thing that I love about this property is that for some reason, the previous owner converted 2 units to 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, even though every other unit is a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. So what we're going to do is actually create 2 additional units by reconverting those. That comes into play a little bit later, which I'll talk about, but it's a very, very good thing for us. Our NOI is at basically $200,000.
What's NOI?
NOI is your net operating income. So that is basically from taking out your mortgage, that's how much the property is making after you pay your mortgage payment, or before you make your mortgage payment. We just bought it in April, so I haven't distributed anything yet, but our anticipated cash-on-cash return is going to be around 7%. That's going to be with the first year of IO that we're going to get, and we're going into an agency debt, 5-year note. That's just the high level on that. Currently, it's 2.4, but it's actually around 2.7, 2.8, just based on today, because I'm actually talking with lenders, and based on the numbers, that's where it's actually at.
So I dropped another acronym, which is IO, for the new folks in the room. That's interest only, period. Usually when you take over a property that needs some rehab, they give you interest only so that you can feed more funds back into that property as well. Okay? It's finicky, huh?
So here are some pictures, and I'll try and walk through. So one thing that kind of threw me off when I was out there, so on my IRO, the one I have in Kingsport, it has individual AC units, but on this property, they have all these wall units. It is very common out there. It scared me at first, but because of the broker, Cindy, who is the Tennessee real estate broker out there, she is phenomenal. She is amazing. I would not be in the position I'm in today if it wasn't for her. She is phenomenal. That she basically explained to me that is incredibly common out there, and don't be scared by it. And to date, it is very true. I don't get any complaints other than when it stops working and you have to replace it. That's about it. The only downside is they're basically like one-time use. They're basically a window unit, so you can't really service them, but it's not that big of a deal because they're pretty cheap. Guy I get them from, I can get them for about $700, so it's not bad, and it lasts me like 5 years. So again, this is before. This is literally the old building. That's what was considered rehabbed from the seller, and it just obviously is not our level of work. We have a great contractor, and so what we did is we took out all the tile, and on the other units, the tile comes down all the way. It's really odd. But anyway, so we put new flooring, repainted all the trim, fixed any patchwork that we needed to. You can't see it here, but repainted the cabinetry. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. That's where we take out all the tile, all of it. We go way in depth to make sure everything's good because you don't want callbacks because that just costs money at the end of the day. I'd rather spend an extra $1,000 to not have them call me for a year and say, hey, something's leaking, something's broken. Fix it all. And one thing that my contractor does that I didn't even know, he replaces all of the water valves instantly when he gets into a unit. He does it automatically, so that way nothing leaks. And if there is a leak, you can actually turn it off and it doesn't come out and be a worse leak. Some more pictures here, just so you can see what it looks like. So this is not granite, it's Formica, and it rents really well. You don't have to put granite in there. That's not what we're trying to do on this. And also, we took out the sinks, and this is a huge sink. I actually want it for my house. It took out the separator, and it's just a massive sink. So I really like it. I know it's really dumb, but it is what it is. More pictures. So another issue that my contractor has OCD with are these transition pieces. The seller had a handyman who was also a resident doing the rehabs. So that's actually a good thing if you're buying, because you know that it's not been very good quality. So that means that you have very low rents, which means there's room for upside. That's the thing that they teach us and things to look for. And yes, it's a headache to get to closing, but it's worth it after the fact. And it has absolutely been true. So what it looks like now, and I tried to get a picture of it, I don't think I have it here. There's another picture to where this is the exact same flooring all the way throughout, and it looks phenomenal.
That's the only thing I can say I actually helped with, just so you guys know, was the flooring and the paint choice. So
She
to
did
our
help,
passives, you're welcome.
Yeah, she helped on that for our IRO, but
kidding,
actually on the Knoxville properties, our property management have already been using a lot of these color tones. So we just rolled with it, and they get above pro forma rents for me, so it's working. Don't mess it up if it's working. Okay, so here are the projections for the year 1, 2, and 3 pro forma. The main one is obviously the most important one down here are the returns. This is with the IO kicking in. Oh, you did change a little bit. Okay, so this is with IO. Then why did it change so much?
Just some of the numbers to match.
Gotcha. Okay. This is what we have with the 1 year IO, and then the IO falls off, and then this is when it actually, so it should have been 2 years IO. But overall, what's going to happen is over 1, 2, and 3, if you average it, it's going to be 7.5 to 7 3/4 cash on cash return. So what that means is if you put $100,000 in the deal, you're going to get $7,500 a year for doing nothing. So that's how that impacts everyone on a cash basis. Any other? Go.
No, just it. Yeah, all the highlights. That's it. Really, that's what you're trying to touch on. So those are really good numbers. You look at it. At the end of the day, these are really good numbers starting off.
So another reason that those are going to be low is this is all based on. I went into the deal needing to get $950 per unit. Right now, I can get anywhere between $1,050 and $1,150 per unit based on the rehabs that we're doing. So I'm already above pro forma, doing what we need to do, and even this is still low because this is only based on $1,000 a unit, I think. So it's still low with everything that I have.
And remember, this is just cash on cash. These are distribution checks that you're going to be getting in the mail. This has nothing to do with a refi or a sale or anything like that.
All right. So then if you take your cash on cash return with the equity capture, if we were to sell in year 3, we're looking at somewhere between 90 to 100% return. And basically on year 3 with a sale refi, we're going to be somewhere between 60 to 70% on your refi or sale gain. So if you add all the cash flow that you've made for 3 years, and then we do one of the two, sell a refi, you're going to get close to all of your money back times 2. So if you put in 100, you're getting 100 that you put in plus an additional 100. You put in 50, you're getting 50 plus an additional 50. So that's really, really good, and that's what I try to get to on all of my deals, and I think passive should be very happy with that.
And those are great numbers, and look at that. That's over 30% a year, not like a few years. That's a year. So that's considered an IRR. I'm assuming you'll go through IRR this weekend, but those are pretty good returns, and those are very common in our industry.
Do you have any investors with you in the room today?
If y'all want to raise your hand, I think there's 4 or 5.
I was gonna say, we have a few
there's
here,
probably
right?
a bit more.
Yeah.
Are any of you disappointed to be in this deal?
As I say, you better not be.
He can
They're
be
shaking
really
their head no and smiling. Very good.
So how did I increase the NOI? Number one thing is the rehab. So when we bought the property, we're at the average unit or average rent per unit is around $820 to $830. And right now I'm trying to push them up to 1050. But all these numbers again are based on 1,000 a unit. So I'm still being conservative, not including when we convert the additional 2 units that we gain on that. That's going to be an additional 15,000 a year, not included in this. And I'm still $100 below what the market rent is. So again, we're being very conservative even with these numbers. And I know and have proven that I can get to where I want to get to. The other thing is we've also started to implement RUBS on everyone. That is ratio utility billing system. Basically what that means is I pay for all of the water, and then can you pick that up, please? And then I charge the residents back for their usage. That's another way that you can make money in the state of Tennessee. You can actually charge a little bit more than what it is. It's not just break even. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm just trying to make sure I break even so I'm not paying for their water, because that does hurt. All right, so how's lifestyles changed? I'll let my wife talk about this.
I'm laughing because literally 5 years ago, I'm not even kidding you guys, we were in our first house in Farber's Branch in a 1950s super cute home, but we decided that we really wanted to do something different. We came to this seminar, learned all about it. He convinced me. I thought it was a scam. Totally wasn't. Clearly, I'm here 5 years later. How many? Oh my gosh, almost 7 years later. We're on our almost 7 years married. So,
Thanks.
sorry. Time flies when you're having fun. So, honestly, we sold our house, our first personal house, to be able to do this. And I cannot stress this enough. We took a lot of leaps of faith, and it's paid off in dividends. We actually just bought our 20-year home in June that again, 6-7 years ago, I would have never dreamed that we would have been in the house that we're in with the pool. I'm not even joking, y'all. I made a list. I was like, I want this, this, and this, and this. Every single piece of it was checked off. And it's because of following the plan, not being afraid to jump into it, and just knowing that you have a lot of really smart people in the room. And I'm telling you, I work for Deloitte. I work with a lot of really smart people at any given point. Every person in this room that I've had the opportunity to work with is brilliant. So I can just say that everything about our life has changed since then, and it's been the best adventure.
Yeah, and another thing to add to that, and I don't think I have it on here, is once you're in and with a part of Lifestyles, you get access to not only the education, but the mentors, and they are absolutely instrumental in this. And Alex Clark was probably the one who got me started on this. And I'm not going to say it, but I'll say it at the road trip. He would call me super late at night, and I drove him nuts running the analysis, figuring it out. And finally he goes, Leland, quit sending these to me unless you're actually going to put an offer in on it. And so he was, that's how I learned. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm ready now.
Yeah.
And so it's absolutely incredible, the education and all the support you get. Cause I feel like I'm just the face, and I'm just controlling all the different plates, keeping them spinning. So that way I can, get a good return for all the investors. Because at the end of the day, that's my job as a lead, to make sure that I make money for my passives.
I also think we need to shout out Cindy. I know, Cindy, you're online. I love you dearly. You are literally the greatest broker, and just so appreciative. Again, every broker that we've had the chance to work with, the realtors in the room are fantastic. They are knowledgeable. They are not going to let you go do something really stupid with your money. And I can tell you from experience, we've had multiple people that are realtors and brokers that have said to us, probably not the best investment idea. And I'm not even joking. We are now here because of that, because they've steered us away from some of those decisions that could have been potentially not the best. And now we're here presenting to you all. So. Yeah.
All right, what's next? We are trying to buy another multifamily property this year. Don't know if that's going to be an IRO or partnership or a syndication. Just depends where funds are at the time when we get to that point. Finish up. So yeah, I'm in the middle of refinancing some properties, trying to get some more money so I can keep moving. We're listing our last single family house on Monday, and that's projected to have over 200% return on that one. So that's going to be a really good one that we're also using to then go back into multifamily. My goal now is I have to replace my wife's income. So that's a challenge, but because she is my sugar mama and makes way more than I do. But I'm up for it. That's what I'm here for. And then we're trying to
But you should also add in that I actually do love what I do. I absolutely love it. I'm not trying to get out of my job super quick, but the nice thing is again, we are able to essentially pay for our life, and I can honestly walk through the parts of my career and actually not have as much stress where I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to keep our family afloat. I've got to keep doing these things. We can actually go on vacations. We're going to Mexico. We're planning to Puerto Rico. I mean, it's things like that. It's real tangible things.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can keep going. Sorry.
It's all good. And then the other goal that we have, which I understand is not necessarily a lifestyles thing, but because we are wanting to continue to be into lifestyle, or excuse me, a lead, we want to pay off our house as quickly as possible, just so that way, because we're doing this and have our names to a lot of these larger loans, we can go home at night and not have to worry about anything. That's just us personally, and that's one of our personal goals. And if we have to, we'll refi it and go buy another deal. And then, but I really want to give a shout out to all the lifestyles team, especially Carolyn and Sadie here locally. I actually worked with them a lot and were under contract on several deals, but they fell through for various reasons. And I'm very blessed to be where I'm at because of the team around me, not necessarily me, but because I was able to get everyone together, and it's all been a cohesive effort to make it happen.
Good.
Yeah, so our team, Mark Petz is my mentor. He's a national multifamily mentor. That's who I go to. Cindy O'Brien, she is the Tennessee broker, and she's amazing. Love her. Reach out to her. Ask her any questions. McIlvain is my CPA. I run everything through them. And then Colliers is the one that we're doing the financing with on this specific deal. I have other vendors, but they're not necessarily on the vendor list, so I didn't add them up here. And they're all in Tennessee, so it doesn't necessarily affect this specific North Texas area. But if you have any other questions, please just let me know, and I'm feel free to answer them for you. That's the last one.
Yeah, I really want to emphasize on that too. We are buying properties across the country. We have realtors in, where's Lee? Where's Lee? Did she leave? How? She just walked out. Damn it, darn it, when I had a question for her.
Trust me, she's heard worse.
9 different states right now and growing.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay. So that's a cool thing. We have offices and realtors and brokers in 9 different states. And we can assist in other states too. So we have national mentors like they talked about, Mark Petz. We have other national mentors who know these areas and can help you buy anywhere you want. So we have national reputations with our brokers with the national brokers. So you got to understand, these national brokers know lifestyles. We bring a lot of street cred, which is pretty cool because we're buying a lot of properties. I think the last count was over $3.5 billion in properties. Pretty good number. So good. Did it?
Yeah, I gave it back.
We're going to open this for questions now.
Where's a mic?
I got a mic in my pocket. We can run out there. You want to run?
Yeah, I'll run. Okay. Oh, she got it.
Oh, look at that. Nope, we can't. There's a little switch on there. Flip it.
How about now?
There
Yes.
we go.
How did you find your property management and your maintenance people?
Yeah, so the property management company is the same company I use on my IRO property, but the way I found them, there was actually another Lifestyles member who was under contract on my IRO, and they were on the property management was on their final 3 list. So I did my own market analysis, talked to everyone, and had my own 3, and we both had the same company. So that's kind of what I did is I kind of rode the coattails and like, okay, if they had them and I had them, then I'm going to say that I'm going to go with them, and that's what ended up happening. So that's how I found them. And they have basically regional people who are in different cities, basically within an hour of a property, but typically it's about 20 minutes or so. And then they have a maintenance person also who's within that same range. So that's how that happens.
I'm trying out this new mic here for the first time. This is great. So I just want to congratulate you and your wife. Well done, man. Just seeing your growth from where you were at to where you've come. Yeah, it's well deserved too.
Thank you.
It's well deserved. And I just remember these calls that we would have, and they were really great calls, and just seeing the development on how he was building his knowledge. And this dude's a subject matter expert on what he's doing. The second thing he's done is he's built out his network of absolute professionals. You see him here, but this is only part of it, right? And I've always taught that this is the key to success, becoming a subject matter expert on whatever your craft is, and then building a network of people who can help support you. So I just want to say, well done, dude. Very impressed.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
If you don't know who that guy was, that's Alex Clark, and he's the one who told him to quit sending him stuff unless he was going to buy. That was his mentor at the time. Who else has a question?
I had a question online.
All right.
So Ken asked for Leland and Shannon, when did y'all start joining lifestyles?
Yeah, so I'll go real quick. Do I have time?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we actually joined in 2017. We joined as a challenge, FFP, and then challenge, because my wife honestly thought that this was a scam. And we actually I saw them, where are they? So the first people that we went to, our very first, the Stones, our 2-day, and they're here, and she was like, it's a scam. About 30 minutes in, she loosened up. At lunchtime, she wanted to join. I was like, cool, this is really easy. By the end of the second day, she was ready to throw everything in multifamily, and I was like, pump the brakes. Like, hold on. I don't trust it that much yet. And so through the course of things, we joined in 2017, did single family, basically sold what my wife was inherited, went into single family, everything, and now we're getting out of single family because we're going into multifamily. So basically 2017, and then 2 or 3 years later, we went into the PIG, and that's where we're at now.
More online?
I just have a statement. Gerald, one of your passives, said congratulations. He's supporting you from the online world here.
Thanks, Gerald.
All right, any other questions?
I have a
that's a wrap.
question for you. You got a room full of, this is a scam people, right? The new folks in the room. Some people dragged here against their will, right? What would you tell them? You're 5-6 years in now. What would you tell them?
So I'm 5-6 years in, and I listened to Dell on the radio for probably 4 years before that.
Oh.
I was still in college, actually. That's right.
You were broke.
I was super broke. And then
Your wife just reminded you of that for the people that
Yeah.
can't hear in the room.
that's the thing, though. When you're broke, you don't want to go back, and you try to make sure that you don't ever go back to that position. And that was my mentality. And I would say the biggest thing is that yes, it is very scary. I get that. If I joined earlier, I'm only 33 years old and I'm already retired. I would have been retired by the time I was 30. That's a statement of fact. The other thing is you can't be scared because these guys, they know what they're doing, and you have to trust them. And I realize that is super scary, but they would not be here unless they knew what they were talking about, and they will open up anything, and you can ask them anything you want in the world. I asked Mike a very personal question earlier today, and he told me right off the bat without it. You just have to ask them any question. Even if you think it's a dumb question, they understand where you're at. They understand that you don't know what you don't know, and the fact that you don't know does not make it a dumb question. You just don't know. So that's the biggest thing. Ask the question and jump in with both feet.
So let me emphasize on that too. That is the motto here at Lifestyles. We are open book. We have, we used to have it before this meeting, but we had it yesterday. We have what's called a lead meeting, and we have about 80 of us leads in there. And we basically open up our books and show each other how we operate, how we benefit, and it works out. Our community is like no other. This is not like a gas station. If you have 2 gas stations competing across the street from each other, are they going to open up their books to you? Probably not. But we are open and willing to show how good we are to everybody. He's got a question for me, I'm happy to show it. You guys as passives, same thing. We are an open book, which is unlike any other community there is.
And to add on to that too, there's numerous other leads who have properties in Knoxville specifically, and we have our own mastermind now, which we're going to meet once a month virtually. And literally, these are the owners of the properties talking to each other openly about issues, insurance, taxes, pest control, the same property management company. Hey, did they fix this? How'd they do this? What'd they charge you on this? So we know all that information, what's going on at the other properties, and it doesn't affect us. I don't mind it. It's honestly helpful because now we know what we can do or what we can't do or how we can adjust to do it the right way.
Excellent job. Well, thank you for coming in and giving back.
Great job.
We appreciate you.